It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
Placement is down. Schrader's kick is up. Schrader's kick is good! 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 Spencer Schrader on a 31-yard field goal, and the Chiefs walk it off with a field goal, winning 30-27.
From the end zone, Stroud in trouble. He stepped out of the end zone. Sack! Safety! Game over!
Fields the kick. Deep dances and running it out. Left to the 30, to the 40, to midfield. Turpin's got the Jets going. 10-5. Touchdown by the league's leading kickoff returner. And everybody's hanky is in its pocket.
Love looks it over, and here it is. Handoff, Jacobs burrowing left side, end zone, touchdown, and there is your dagger.
In the pistol, he gives it to Barkley, who cuts outside. He's at the 40, the 50, the 40. He's going to go again. He's going to go again. Touchdown, Saquon Barkley. His all-time record, 72 yards.
Highlights from the National Football League. Saquon Barkley. Bigger mistake. The Jets bringing in Aaron Rodgers, or the Giants letting Saquon Barkley go?
You think he would have made a difference with the Giants?
Yeah, probably not enough of a difference. I mean, they wouldn't have turned into the Eagles all of a sudden.
He was already on the team, though, and didn't make any difference.
So you'll take Jets bringing in Aaron Rodgers?
I don't care either way. Losing teams, no matter what they do.
The Commanders were a losing team. They started 7-2. They've lost 3 in a row. The Cowboys get them 34-26. The Texans started 5-2. They've lost 4 of 6, including to the Titans yesterday with the safety at the end of the game, and the Jets got them earlier in this stretch. You got confidence in either one of them turning it around, or they're both sinking back to 500?
I would go with Houston.
Seen a little more from C.J. Stroud and the Texans?
Yeah.
Got a little more under your belt there. The Chiefs win again. They're 10-1. They're tied for the NFL's best record, but for the 5th time in 10 games, they win on the last play of the game. 8 of the 10 wins by a single score. Are they just bored, or is there a flaw there that the Bills or the Lions can prey on, or somebody else can prey on in the playoffs?
I'm going to go with the Chiefs until I see them lose.
Yeah. Just a little bored and messing around. The Lions, that was workmanlike. Man, just crushed the Colts 24-6. Nothing wildly entertaining in that. Just a complete beating. So they improved to 10-1. Monday Night Football, Ravens and Chargers playing tonight. Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh. And 2 teams that look ticketed for a wild card berth in the AFC. Kicks off at 6:15 on ESPN and ABC. DJ and PK.
Hashtag BYU.
Scatterboo. Again, a broken tackle, and he can walk in. Touchdown. Third of the first half for Cam Scatterboo. But I'm giving it to 27 here. Instead, it's Marion again on that jet sweep, trying to get the corner, and he's into the end zone for the second time. Touchdown, BYU. Retzlaff steps up, moving to his right, hoists it deep. And it's underthrown, and it was caught but short of the goal line. It was caught by Chase Roberts, but it doesn't matter. The game is over, and now they can celebrate. Arizona State with the win.
The Cougars, after 9 straight wins, have back-to-back losses. Cam Scatterboo with 3 first-half touchdowns, and they hold on to win 28-23. PK, there were many woulda, coulda, shouldas, and what-ifs. You were down there for the dual field stormings. One short of tying the record. What'd you think?
I was hoping for a penalty on that last play.
Clear the field again. Wave them off.
BYU's expecting it too.
Or have a reception and then have a different fan base storm the field when the other fan base is already on the sidelines, because there was enough BYU fans there.
To storm the field.
25-30% maybe. They had a great showing, as we knew they would. There was no doubt about that. The Cougars have lost 2 games by a combined 9 points. You know, they got to get away from the slow starts. You're falling down 21-0, 21-3, 28-9 or whatever it was there. But, I mean, you had the momentum in the second half. As Kalani talked about that afterward, if you could play a whole game, you could argue that they win that game. But, you don't know for sure. But that's been the problem, is the inconsistency of the offense. I mean, how can you look so bad in one half and look great
in the other?
In the second half? I mean, it was crazy. It was 2 different games for that team. But, they still have a shot. It's funny, the Devils, I mean, they're celebrating wildly, and the Cougars don't know, and they got the exact same record.
Yeah. But momentum in the head-to-head win. There you go.
Yeah, and good for them. But, I mean, they played a whale of a game in terms of rallying back. A lot to build on. Don't count out them having an opportunity. Kansas State is very much capable of beating Iowa State. And
that would give us BYU and ASU again. I'll sign up for that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That was an entertaining game.
Yeah. So, well, if the Devils win, I mean, you just gave them the win this week that they haven't gotten yet.
I did. Well, you went right to the – and I guess Arizona could too, but we've seen way more out of K-State than we've seen out of Arizona. But
it's a
one
game.
Exactly. And even if it's not, I mean, it was just one game for Auburn, and they hadn't seen anything out of them, and they beat A&M. So you get near the end of the year, guys, we're going to get it right this time. I don't know. It works somehow.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona's got listed, if you go on mock drafts, they got 3 first-round picks. 3. That's pretty good.
Jordan Tyson, 125 yards receiving. Cam Scatterbo, 147 yards rushing. The guys who have been a problem all year, who we thought would be a problem, they ended up being a problem. Big games for those guys. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah State.
Barnes will keep it himself. Barnes to the 10, Barnes to the 5, gets by a man, and he is into the end zone. Bryson Barnes, a leisurely stroll into the end zone, and the Aggies get their first touchdown of the game.
The pig farmer.
Barnes going to throw to Sturzer to the 5, Sturzer into the end zone. Touchdown, Utah State. Josh Sturzer, his 3rd touchdown in 2 games. Bryson Barnes keeps it himself. Guess what? Bryson's gone to the 50, to the 45, 40, 30, 20, and tripped up finally at the 17-yard line. Bryson Barnes is going to eclipse 200 yards rushing in this game.
Holy cow!
The Aztecs have no answer for him.
Well, he didn't get to 200, but 15 carries for 193 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not bad. And Utah State wins on Senior Day. They beat San Diego State 41-20 after trailing 13-0. Aggies go on a 41-7 run, and it ends up being a blowout and a laugher.
Amazing.
Barnes getting loose again and again. Who knew that the injury was going to change the game? But Peaches got hit as he threw, and he was down in obvious pain, and Barnes came in and sparked him.
And now what he does is he transfers back to Utah. Then he have a year left? I think he does.
Utah State's got Colorado State coming up in the finale now. They improved to 4-7. We will talk with Nate Dreiling coming up at 7:30, interim coach for the Aggies. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah.
And that pass is picked off. A takeaway by Lander Barton. And Barton is still moving. He's got some blockers. From behind, he's going to go all the way. It's a touchdown for the Utes. And Lander and Barton. There's a special teams play and a block punt. And the Utes, if they're on it, it's a touchdown. And it is. Driving toward the end zone is Hansen. And he's in for an Iowa State go-ahead touchdown. For the tie, it is no good.
Utah loses their 7th straight game, beaten by Iowa State. The final 31-28. You heard Lander Barton with the pick 6, so the Utes get their first pick 6 of the year, and that 2-decade streak continues. Zamaya Vaughn swoop it in for a key block. But the secondary, Zamaya, but not just Zamaya. That was a long game chasing those wide receivers around, PK. They had no answer for him. And when Iowa State needed to go down the field at the end of the game, the U defense once again, couldn't get a stop in the fourth quarter with the game on the line, and Iowa State wins it 31-28.
Yeah, it's been a problem for that defense, man. They play well, and then the other team needs a touchdown or whatever type of score, field goal in case of Houston, and they get it. So it's been a little frustrating for them. But the whole season has been a massive amount of frustration, unlike anything that this program has seen in a long time, if ever, relative to the expectations that they had this season. So one more game and shut it down, hit the transfer portal, and reload.
Start all over again. Down to their fifth string quarterback now. 2 years in a row. Here comes Batari. He did lead a touchdown drive. Seemed to spark the offense.
Well, they could have been in field goal position. They got that grounding call.
Yeah.
That stunk.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Losses all over college football. 3 of the top 10 get beat. There were some big upsets. The teams in the second tier, some of them had playoff hopes. They got beat. Colorado, BYU, and Texas A&M, 14, 15, and 16. Entertaining day of college football, PK. Chaos.
Yeah, I have had a lot of tremendous calls. I've provided a lot of great radio.
And
I think the Kansas one might be my greatest effort.
Kansas, the first unranked team to beat 3 ranked teams. I couldn't believe when I saw that
They
stat.
had one win.
Yep.
And I kept saying they were good.
And they've turned around and beaten a bunch of ranked teams.
I kept saying they were good. I insisted it each week, week after week. Sure enough, they're playing as well as anybody in this conference.
They'll sit around and wonder, why didn't we do this earlier?
These one-score losses so close. Get this last win and get bowl eligible. They can find a little bit of satisfaction there, I think.
Dominating Colorado after edging BYU, Kansas single-handedly shaking up the race, doing damage.
I wasn't surprised at all.
Surprised by any of the SEC losses?
Who lost in the SEC?
Alabama got beat 24-3. Dominated by Oklahoma, of all people.
I don't know.
A&M went to Auburn and got beat. Auburn was 4-6 coming in. Shaking things up.
I'll let the rest of the country devote most of the energy on the SEC.
Maybe the ACC can have multiple playoff bids now.
SMU.
SMU and Miami might both squeeze in. Clemson's over there saying, hey, we played Georgia. You got to reward tough schedules. Well, we'll see if the committee has to reward tough schedules.
Well, they got worked by Georgia. You can't just play them. If that's all it took, everybody would do it.
Sign them up. Boise State was in trouble at Wyoming. They were down 13-10 in the fourth quarter, but they put together a touchdown drive when they had to do it. So they win that game 17-13.
But they only lost to Oregon by 3.
Yeah.
Come on. They only beat a 2-9 team by 4.
Woo. They were sweating.
You can't just have it one way.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag Utah Jazz.
As Sexton lobs to the rim, Lowry's up above the cup, and he'll finish it. The finisher, Lowry marketed with a two-hand flush. Kicks to Juzang in the corner. Johnny Juzang. Sexton, he'll take a 3 with 2 on the shot clock, and he'll hit it, and that'll do it. Put a Jazz note on this one. 111-96, 2:26 to play.
Utah Jazz build a big lead over the Knicks in the second quarter. It started to slip away in the fourth quarter. The lead was down to 8. There was middle of the quarter. There was plenty of time for the Knicks to come back. But the Jazz with a 10-0 run Saturday afternoon in the fourth quarter, and they win their 4th game of the year, 121-106.
There to go, boys.
Now with 4 wins in the race to the bottom, they're a game and a half behind the Wizards, who seem to be taking this very seriously.
Well, if you're going to shoot 50% from 3, you're going to win a lot of games. But that's not going to happen.
And the Jazz shot 56%, so they had a day.
Right.
Marketing with 34 points. He was 5 of 8 from 3, but Sexton was 6 of 8, and Juzang was 4 of 7. So they had a lot of guys lighting it up. Jazz are back in action tomorrow night against the Spurs at the Delta Center. It's an NBA Cup game, so have the colorful floor. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
The Cleveland Cavaliers with the best record in the NBA, and they win again. 122-108. They take down the lowly Toronto Raptors and improve to 17-1 on the season. Donovan Mitchell, 26 points in the W. Boston, 2.5 games back. The only team to beat Cleveland this year. The defending champs beat Minnesota 107-105. Timberwolves had a 3 at the buzzer for the win, but missed it. See Jimmy Butler with the dunk to force overtime?
I didn't watch 1 second of NBA. I'm all college football. I can't help you on any of it.
Well, that was Sunday night.
It could have been Tuesday afternoon. I'm not in NBA mode.
And Philadelphia continues to collapse. They are 3-13 as the Clippers blow them out in Philadelphia with Philly fans booing 125-99. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
College basketball, another money game. BYU beats Mississippi Valley State 87-43, and Mississippi Valley State will play the Utes tomorrow night as they continue their tour and pick up their checks. Utah blew out Utah Tech. The notable win of the weekend, Utah State beat Iowa 77-69. The Aggies looking good on a neutral floor in Kansas City.
Yeah, it's a nice win for them. I mean, it's better than these other teams that these guys keep playing, all these teams here. I just can't get into it at all. I looked at the box score. Falslev had a big game, and they got Martinez. So can they do it again? I mean, you know, they did it last year, and last year was a great run, great story. I loved being at the Thomas and Mack last year covering that conference tournament with these guys, and we know they got to win in the tournament and all that stuff, and then it blows up, and they got a couple guys come back. It's not as crazy this year because they've got some guys. Last year, it was like everybody was brand new. Here,
but they've got 5 players back, and 2 of them are very important.
Yeah, Johnson, the center, who played there last year.
Ian Martinez has had a huge role. Falslev has had a huge role.
Right, because I just said both those guys. I just named them.
Utah Tech and Montana tonight, ESPN Plus. That's the Stu Morrill Classic. They named a tournament after him up there at Montana. And Weber State hosts Justice College. Who is Justice College? Justice College sounds like a win, I guess. There you go. You know much about Justice College?
Yes. They had Brian Peace was on the team last year, but now he's gone. And so, you know, no justice, no peace.
And Mercy University is their arch rival.
Created a nice backstory. DJ and PK.
Hashtag golf.
Who's Maverick McNeely? He birdied the final hole of the RSM Classic. Gets to 16 under and wins. Gets his first PGA Tour win, and his family was there, and everybody was hollering and hugging.
As they should.
Good times were had by all. Patrick Fishburne, a top 10 performance, ties for 8th at 13 under, 3 shots back. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Keller back to Sergachev. Tapped in and they score. It's Logan Cooley. A power play goal for Utah. And this special teams unit stays hot. Nylander on the backhand scores.
Utah Hockey Club split in 2 games over the weekend. The Bear, head coach Andre Tourny, throwing down the gauntlet. Got to be better on the power play. 30th out of 32 teams in the league. They convert 3 out of 4 power play opportunities in Pittsburgh and 1 of the 2 in Toronto. It's enough in Pittsburgh. They roll 6-1 in that game, but they get beat 3-2 by Toronto. The whole consistency thing, switch off, give up 3 goals in less than 6 minutes. And then there's a timeout and a great shot of Andre Tourny gesturing and hollering at the team. Then they tighten it back up, but they stop defending for 6 minutes, and there you go. Utah Hockey Club wraps up the road trip in Montreal, playing the Canadiens tomorrow night. You can hear that game right here on The Zone. DJ and PK, that is what is trending. Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up after the break, Nate Dreiling, Aggie interim coach. Corinne Reed at 9:30. And Darius Lassiter at 8:30. DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. Stay with us.